Do you have any public cloud experience?
No, man.
Okay. And do you have any
Actually, I
experience
had,
working?
but it was very small, so I didn't count it as much. But yeah, I can leverage those experience to uh, understand the cloud better. So I had worked on
Mm-hmm.
AWS Lambda for like 6 months
Mm-hmm.
or so in my previous project when I was working in New Jersey.
Cool. Do you have any experience with Terraform?
Terraform.
Okay. And so Spring Boot you are using. And do you have any experience with or knowledge about Kubernetes and Docker?
Uh, so currently we are using the enterprise Kubernetes. So not a lot of idea, but yeah, I have gone through the YMLs and all those things. So maybe I
Mm-hmm.
will able to answer, but not
Okay.
specifically have written those commands since we have a different DevOps teams to look out for. So
Okay. So you have a separate DevOps team who takes care of deployment part, right?
yeah, definitely.
And how the deployment is created from the scratch, like if you commit a code, then what happens in CI/CD, what type of scans or builds or and like that.
So whenever we are pushing, basically we are using something called Tecton to build our image. That comes under
Mm-hmm.
Lightspeed Enterprise, which is basically integrated with our Bitbucket. So whenever we are
Mm-hmm.
pushing the code, it build the image on the top of it, and then basically there are some certain checks. So first, basically we have a git config stage, and then we have a different scanning, like we are using previously we are using black tech scan, but now we are
Mm-hmm.
using sync report to get the vulnerabilities if there's any.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, our code will compile. All the test cases will, the script will be executed, and all the test cases written for the particular microservices will be executed. If there's any error, it will stop there. And after that, the container will run, so it will build out the images, and then will basically push those images into the Helm chart. Since we are
Mm-hmm.
using uh, the Helm chart currently, we are start
Yeah.
using. Then it
Mm-hmm.
push into the Helm chart, and basically once it pushed into the Helm chart, then different artifactories are there. Then it will push to that artifactory. So as and when the image is required, then you can extract the particular image from the artifactory.
Okay. Okay. And the test cases which are being executed as part of the pipelines, those are unit test cases or integration test cases?
No, those are only unit test cases.
Unit test case. Okay.
Yeah.
And okay. As part of your build, you are not checking or you are not validating the functionality because you are just validating your own
Absolutely.
code using
Absolutely.
unit test cases.
Yeah.
Okay. And okay. Okay. Good. Good. So, you have do you know, like, are you able to write CI/CD pipelines, or you haven't tried because it's
Uh,
managed by separate team?
no, I haven't read it.
Okay, no issues. And what is your role in your current project? Like, are you an individual contributor, or you are involved in design and discussions? And do you have any junior members who like whom you teach or whom you groom?
So, prior to 1 year, I was working as an individual contributor. Then I was basically promoted to staff engineer. And, I am currently leading a team of four. So currently grooming them, and also being part of some part also goes into design. Uh, but
Mm-hmm.
majorly since we are using Sprint agile methodology, so I
Mm-hmm.
was working on. I will be working on that particular story, which is being presently assigned by the client. So it was more about 70-30. So 70% goes into coding part,
Mm-hmm.
and also generally so from the last 1 year I was not into writing all the business code. So they
Mm-hmm.
have put me into innovation group. So basically, we this group's actually responsible for seeking out um, any strategy for the development, or uh, how how we can
Mm-hmm.
improve the performance of the microservices, any design pattern we need to apply.
Mm-hmm.
So all those things will be a part of. Actually, I was in the part of that from the last week. But prior to that, yeah, I was an individual contributor for this
Okay.
current project.
Okay. Okay. So let's start with some hands-on.
Sure,
Okay,
sure,
Kash.
sure.
If you can share your screen and open any editor or ID, anything you are comfortable.
Sure. Yes. Let me know if you're able to see this.
Yeah, I can see. So in the chat, I put some information.
Just I'm not sure why two screen. Okay. That is,
Okay. So we have an employee class and we have this ID, name, salary, department, and address. Okay. And we have an address class where city and zip code is there. Now, suppose you have a list of employees and you need to find employees having highest salary from each department, and at least that salary should be greater than 2000. Okay. So, for example, department, there are four unique departments, 20 employees data is there, and each department has five employees. So department A has employees having salaries 1k, 2k, 3k, 4k, and 5k. So 5k being the highest salary and also greater than 2k, so it's eligible. Similarly for department B, the salaries are 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. So 500 being the highest salary but not greater than 2000, so it's not eligible. So we need to find the employees having highest salary and greater than 2000 for each department using like Java 8 and above streams, lambdas, filters, and
okay.
all. You
Okay.
can write it.
Employee having highest salary, and so this is a different statement, and this is a different statement.
So both is it's a combination. So there are two things.
Okay.
It should be an highest salary
Okay.
among that department,
Okay.
and salary should be greater than 2000. So for example, in department B,
Okay.
highest salary was 500, right? But it is not greater than 2000, so we'll not list
Okay.
down that employee or department.
Oh, okay. 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 Got it. Sure. Can I get 5 minutes of time to think about it? And then can I ask
Sure, sure, take your time. I'll just get with some water. I'll be back.
Let's see. Mm, mm,
I'm back.
let me see if so I'm just considering that employees is the object would consist of the list and then ability to is that
Yeah,
fine?
employees is list of employees. So
Uh, and this will give me so what I will do is those based on put the employee department time to paste based on salary. We go to new line. Also of that this will be our filter. Maximum by now it is taking one element as the network.
done.
No, just a minute. Just a minute.
Okay.
Get so it will give us a map and then
Map of.
I think this will give us a map of employee. So map string
Okay. So okay. So first you are streaming it, then you are filtering. If the seller is greater than 2000, then and only you need to group by. Otherwise, no need. That's great. Collectors dot grouping by department is the key. Collectors dot collecting, and then why do you need this collectors dot collecting and then
because I
why
wanted
can't
to.
you use collect?
Mhm.
Why can't you use directly collectors dot max by? What happens if you use collectors dot max by?
Uh, I was storing that. Basically, I want the department and all the
Correct.
uh, all the salaries, and then basically max it by the employee salaries. So basically comparing it by. So you're saying like why can't I use something like that? Is this what you tell me? So that I should be having like this?
Correct. So I was assuming that like the syntax for grouping by is the first argument is your key and the second
Second, I
argument is
was
your any operator, right? Makes by or anything. You don't because already you
okay.
are writing collectors dot grouping by. That means you are collecting it by
Mm-hmm.
grouping it, right? So then it's double times, like two times you are asking Java to collect, and then again collect. So there are like right now there are three times collectors. So I'm confused like whether it's needed or not. That's fine. And then collect state max by collecting comparing get salary. Okay. So you're getting the max optional get. Okay. And why is this optional get is there in case like any
Because
can you
it will
explain?
return you the optional, and then we wanted to get that particular thing. So it's a short circuit
Mm-hmm.
operation, and then we wanted to get that element so that it will give us a map with the string in it and not the optional.
Mm-hmm. So optional dot get and let me and also your return type is map with string and employee. So what happens, Akash, if your department C
Mm-hmm.
has five employees and the salaries are um 3,000, 3,000, 3,000, 3,000, 3,000. So all the five employees having salary 3,000. So 3,000 is the highest salary
Mm-hmm.
and also greater than 2,000. So there will be multiple employees eligible, right? And you are returning only one employee. Here also you are getting optional that get assuming it's only single employee.
So, but no, I think we are already filtering out the employees who are salary, because I think this is a single entry, right? It's not, let's say, it's not a custom object, right? Let's call it an address. So, I think this
But
filter will automatically remove those employees which is having like 3,000 or sorry, 300 and 300. So
no,
then,
I'm saying valid scenario, Akash.
okay.
I'm saying 3,000, 3,000, 3,000. All five employees' salary is 3,000. So all
Mhm.
five employees are eligible because salary is greater than 2,000, right?
Okay, 3,000. Okay.
So
Mhm.
yeah, so once you pass your filter, again you have five employees. On those five employees, you are grouping by, so department is same, okay.
Okay.
There are five employees. Then you are finding max by with salary, still five employees are there, and now you are doing optional dot get. So you'll return not a single employee, but you will return a list of employees. In your map also you are
Mhm.
expecting a single employee, but what happens like this will not be able to cater the scenario which I was talking about, right?
Okay, okay, okay.
So will it fail or
No, it
fail
will
at
not
runtime?
fail, but eventually it will give you only one employee, which is considered based on uh, based on the how HashMap basically get the sorted out the value, not the sorted, but basically how map will put the key based on that. So you will get the first
Mm-hmm.
employee. But let's say if I'm
Okay.
using linked list, so that linked hash map, sorry, not the linked list, linked hash map. So basically, it will give the employee based on the insertion.
Mm-hmm.
And so if
Okay.
I'm using the tree map, so that is on the basis of the sorted.
Okay. Let's move ahead. Do you know about immutable in Java?
Yes, yes. So
Okay.
immutability.
So
Okay.
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
We need to we need to create this employee class as an immutable.
Okay.
What changes you will do?
First I will make this as a final class, and then eventually all the fields also goes into private and final. Uh, and so all those things goes into like private mode. And then we will not be having any setters. We will only be having the getters. And we cannot we always we only have a parameterized constructor with all the values, all the basically all those variable will be inside it, so it will be all argument constructor for employee, and that should be public one. And we so this is our custom object, so we don't have to really worry about these ones, since these are always a wrapper class, so we don't have to worry much about the immutability. Now coming back to the address one, so we should always be returning like if I'm having if I were to return this, so this dot address, it should be all it should be like new, so that it will not be mutable as and when I will. So basically, we are using the deep copying of the shell. So yeah, these are the steps we need to follow in order to make a class.
Okay. Okay. So so here you are cloning the address object. Okay. And suppose and this is in constructor or this is in getter?
No, no, no. This is not in constructor. So yeah, I just so this will be there, and then under the getter, I should sorry, under the get address,
Okay.
and
So yeah, that's what I was
yeah.
assuming,
Mhm.
that in get address you are cloning it. So
Yeah.
that's one way to achieve an immutability, so
Mhm.
that you can clone and the original object is not returns.
Yeah.
I mean returnable. But what happens is, suppose hypothetically a scenario where
Mhm.
assume scenario where employees having 1000 addresses, and you have a list of address, okay,
Mhm.
instead of single address.
Okay.
So every time if I am calling employee.get
Mhm.
address list, and
Mhm.
you clone 1000 objects and then give me a list of those address, then it will impact my performance, because my heap memory will directly be impacted if I
Exactly.
create
Mhm.
too many unnecessary objects.
Mhm.
So what we can do there?
Um, uh, mm, okay. Mm, let's say, I was thinking like maybe we can use existing collections. This is a
Ex-
custom object. Um,
mm,
not sure. Man.
okay. Okay. No issues. So do you know how HashMap works?
Yes, man, yes. So, do you want me to?
No need to explain. And do you know how HashSet works?
Yes.
Okay. So HashSet also uses HashMap, right?
exactly.
Then will it be a true statement if I can say
Mhm.
that I don't need to use HashSet anywhere because I can use HashMap and achieve whatever the behavior I want to get. So basically, in HashSet, what we want to get is
Mhm.
a set
Mhm.
which does not store duplicate values, right? It only stores unique values in HashSet, right?
Yeah, yeah, okay.
So using HashMap keys, we can achieve that because you know about the backend of HashSet that internally it uses
Mhm.
HashMap.
Correct.
So why did Java introduce HashSet? Because
Uh,
we were able to achieve all the possible scenarios with HashMap also.
no, the thing with HashMap that it works on key value pair, but the hash set basically this basically contains
Is only single value.
yeah. So it basically consider enter the collection, whereas map does not comes under collection, although it's a
Uh,
different structure altogether. Uh, and coming back to the question, like we can use, I think we can use, but we have to also make sure that the value we are passing, it should be a new object. So basically, internally, if you see the hash set, so it uses like for the value pair, it uses something called present variable. It
Correct,
is
it's the constant value.
yeah, it's a
Mm.
constant value. So if we are
That's what I
using
was saying. That yeah, if like we can store whatever the value you want to store in HashSet, we can store it in HashMap's key, and like similar to that implementation, we can store any constant value in value part of HashMap.
yeah,
Then I mean, why do I, as a Java developer, why do I need to use HashSet? Do you know the scenario where you need to use HashSet? Because I can achieve the same behavior if you are implementing HashSet. I
mhm.
can do that using HashMap also, right? It's possible, right?
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah, that's what.
Then then why Java introduced HashSet?
Um, mm, uh, um, let's go with the interface itself. So has sorry set has a different implementation. Uh, let's say has set and all those things. But we if we specifically talk about the has set and not the other set implementation, then I think with the help of HashMap we can achieve it. But if we are only specifically talking about the interface, then I think sorry, if we specifically talk if we not specifically talking about the hash set and why set was an interface, then in that sense we all know that because different site implementation uses different the data structure, underlying data structure, like tree set uses a different data structure, and linked set also uses different data structure. But if we specifically talk about the hash set, and I think we can achieve the same functionality with the hash. It's just like um, uh,
Mm-hmm.
apart from that logic, I was thinking like what hash set provide that hash cannot provide. So
Mm, that's
not
what like that's what is that thing which
uh,
HashSet provides and HashMap does not.
maybe in the sense of maybe in the sense of concurrency, maybe um, that because it is
Concurrency in terms of.
in terms of in using those two uh, method in the multi-threaded environment. That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
That HashMap definitely is not it's not a thread safe data structure to use. Um, maybe maybe in that sense, maybe that we can use the HashSet. But apart from that, Milan, I think I'm not able to gather that
Mm-hmm.
particular instance. I think.
Okay. Nice. Let's move ahead. Okay. So, you worked with Spring JPA, right?
Yeah, good.
Yeah. So in Spring JPA, like whenever we define an entity, we use these annotations like at the rate ID, column, name, right? And various annotations, generation strategy, sequence, and all. So consider a scenario that one table is created in production
Okay,
where it's a temporary table. So we don't follow all the methodologies and all the what to say our best practices.
okay,
So that table doesn't have any primary key, any unique key, any reference key, nothing, no index, nothing is there.
okay,
Okay. And there are only two columns because it's a temporary table, the
okay.
temporary in nature also.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
want to get rid of
absolutely.
that table.
Absolutely.
And there are only two columns, column A, column B.
Okay,
And it is possible that column A contains duplicate values,
okay,
and similarly for column B also it's possible.
okay,
Now we want to map this as an entity in our JPA, this table. Okay.
okay.
So I remember that like whenever we don't define any ID column in
Mm-hmm.
JPA, it will cry. I mean, at the application
Yeah,
startup only it will fail.
yeah.
So how you tackle this kind of scenario if you want to map this entity in JPA?
Okay. Uh, mhm. And that template table has no relationship with other table. Like we are
No,
not allowed to.
no.
Okay. Uh, I don't have the ID. How are we going to get the values? Uh, so we are not allowed to do. Okay. Okay. No, no, no. No.
Come
Template.
again?
No, no. I was just thinking back of mind. Okay. If it is a temporary table, there's no video. Uh, Maybe I was thinking like I think it should be some annotation. Uh, any sort of
Mm-hmm.
it has to be annotation, otherwise we need to write a logic for that. Uh, mm, when I think I'm not able to.
Okay, okay. Let's move ahead. So you know about AutoWire.
Yeah. Okay. Uh,
So
yeah.
by
So
default,
yeah. Yeah. So,
by default it uses singleton, right?
yeah.
If we want to create multiple objects of any bean
Mhm.
in Spring, or Spring Boot, right? How we can create it?
You can use at the scope and then provide on the top of the at the LB and
Mm-hmm.
provide inside the course you can provide the code time. So it will create the bean as and when required with different object. So with the help of the scope.
Mm-hmm. Okay. 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 And you, I think, do you know, have you worked before Java 8?
Yes, in my starting 2 years, 2 years.
Okay. Okay. So you must have noticed they have introduced this local date time, zone date time, epoch date time, right? In Java 8.
Yeah, yeah, in Java.
Earlier we used to use Java util date where there was a date class and all.
Correct.
What was the reason they introduced this multiple classes and multiple implementation? Were you facing any challenges when you were using a Java util date?
So, yeah, Milan. So, they have introduced us because of actually it does. So previously, we have to specifically define out our zone, and so this basically introduces a new classes for that, and those classes are immutable classes. So it basically comes up with immutability by default. Whereas if we talk about the date and character, those are not immutable class. And basically this also these immutable classes also helps us to uh, uh, better collaborate with the Steam APIs with the use of the Lambda function. And also they under those also it is in a different package altogether. And also they have introduced the daylight saving, which was not earlier there. We have to specifically
Mm-hmm.
define like you know basically they have introduced like daylight saving, which occurs in United States and all those areas. So we have to specifically define that consider this and then
Mm-hmm.
essentially uh, so I think yeah these are the points which they that's why they have introduced the data. The
I
first
mean,
is
yeah, these are the common, I mean, these are the like differences which are like explained very well all over the internet. But I was asking, like, in your day-to-day life,
Mhm.
whether you faced any challenge, and you,
So
mm, by
mhm.
looking at these new classes, it might be strike like, oh, this was not there in the utility. It's good that they have introduced this similar things. I was asking if you have encountered.
Specifically, not because previously when we are working with so currently in our project we are using the new datetime API, and so we are using like um, uh, so previous to do that, yeah, like suppose if I were to define, since we are using the PPM solution, and every case when it goes to a different stage, specifically need to define like what is the time of it. So when we are building the product, because since the client is all Indian centric, so we
Mm-hmm.
are not we have not explored the purpose of that
Mm-hmm.
zoned APIs on that particular project. But yeah, if let's say if I'm working on an I mean let's say if international client project, then it makes sense
Mm-hmm.
because then we can use that zone time API to invoke that particular zone. Uh, the time should be displayed over that particular zone. Before that, I think since it was Indian centric, I don't, I don't face any problem with that with using that. And since the lambda functions also being defined after that, so immutability also will help in that in that sense. But we are okay if that is being immutable, because we have defined our own custom object, and then we can make that immutable when we are
Okay.
implementing that product. So yeah.
Thanks, Akash. Akash, I'm done from my side. If you
Okay.
have any question, you can ask. Otherwise, we can wind up the call.
Yeah, Milan. So I was thinking like, so is this I believe this is hiring for a specific project, right? So so
Yeah,
this project is a nice optimized product, or is it like
Actimize. Yes,
so
this is
optimized?
hiring for Actimize R&D,
Okay.
and because Nice has different BUs, and those are like in separate domains.
Okay.
But this is specifically for Actimize.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks. Have a good day.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.